are for this Wednesday afternoon. Now, one of the most hotly anticipated rock reunions of all time is officially underway because Oasis are on tour and they're now preparing for two sold-out nights at Croke Park. You know, the word yesterday is that 26 articulated lorries had made their way to Croke Park with everything on board. Anyhow, Hot Press is marking the moment with a special feature on the Gallagher brothers. It's on the cover, and inside the group deputy editor Stuart Clark is diving into the Oasis story and looking back at years of coverage and interviews. And Stuart, now 1 second, Stuart, I halt some background noise here because we're going to chat to Stuart in just a moment. Hopefully we can hear him now. Stuart, if you're there.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm really good. Just walked into work about 3 hours ago, and the excitement around town, around Dublin, is just incredible. There's loads of people hawking flags and dodgy T-shirts, and half of Manchester seems to be over.
I even heard that there's a help centre. Is it on Camden Street where they're setting up to help disoriented fans or fans who need a bit of assistance after the gigs? Come to
There
that
might
now.
be one or two getting disorientated on the night. Just the pure excitement of seeing the boys, of course.
Yeah.
There's an Oasis shop up on Stephen's Green. I mean, the city is just being consumed. It's like All Ireland Day.
Right. There's obviously a big buzz and a lot of hype. Is it all justified? You haven't seen them yet on tour, but I'm sure you've read, or have you?
I cheated and I watched a rather naughty video that three fans shot on the opening night in Cardiff, and I was going to resist, but for research purposes, I looked at it. First of all, the quality of these pirate bootlegs these days is incredible. It sounded like it was done off the desk. It looked really, really good. And I've had friends in the UK who don't like Oasis, but have gone because they're journalists coming away saying, I actually like them now. I think they're in really top form. They sounded great in Cardiff. And as I say, a few sort of non-believers have been converted by these shows.
All right. A lot's been made of the fallout. Do you think it was as big and as deep as it was? Was it as serious as it was? Is it now fully mended? Are they buddy, or are they just together for the tour?
Well, my pop psychology thing is that they love and hate each other in equal measure. And I've been around them when episodes have happened. I was with Noel when he found out that Liam was trying to sue him for defamation. It didn't go to court, but Noel wasn't best pleased. And he said some awful things about his brother. But I remember he was having a right old go at Liam one day. I mean, really, the air was blue. But he said, what I will say for Liam is he's a better dad than me. He gets down the ground and plays horsey with his kids. I wouldn't do that. So even when slagging, he could recognise this lovely quality in his brother. I think the media blackout in terms of interviews was, one, they've sold all the tickets. Two, somebody might say the wrong thing. Noel once said, I've got loads of buttons and Liam has loads of fingers. So there's always this thing that, Liam knows how to wind up Noel. And if anything went amiss, I do believe, I've been talking to people behind the scenes, they only really believed it that opening night. They thought something might happen. It was that volatile, I think. And there's been so many fallings out and possibly false dawns in the past that until they're on stage, that's when the reunion really started.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the key word there. Volatile. The relationship is volatile, and the band themselves, they almost feel like they're a volatile entity, and they're also very, as we found out in Hot Press down through the years, they're also, both of them, Noel and Liam, they're very open in interviews. They give a great interview. They're outspoken, and they've been absolutely vicious towards one another, but you always get great press. You always get a
Brilliant quote. I don't think anyone could media train Liam Gallagher, and Noel's quite resistant. It's funny, when I first met the band backstage at Slane in 1995, they were supporting REM, I got a real snapshot. First of all, it was only about 20 minutes after they come off, but Liam was already very refreshed and said, I love Hot Press, but I'm going to go off now. This what have you can talk to you. And off he went, leaving Noel there looking a bit sort of dazed. And Noel actually said to me, I've been looking forward to this. And I said, I bet you say that to all the magazines. He went, no, 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 because when we were kids, we used to go on holiday to Mayo, and they were music nuts, age 12 or 13. So they pick up Hot Press, take it back to school in Manchester, and kids would go, oh my God, can we read that? And no, I go, no, it's a special magazine for Irish people. So actually, they read it as kids. And throughout the hustle and bustle, when they've been doing no press, they've spoken to us. They've been very, very loyal. And as Noel said to me, he said, I don't care if you sell 2 copies. You're the music magazine. We're a rock and roll band. I don't want to be in the Sun or the Daily Mail. I want to be on the front of the music magazine. And I think also he said to me once, we're having a chat when we were waiting for our cars, his was a bit flasher than mine, that he said he liked the fact that, when he talked to Hot Press, it'd be 5,000 words. He could tease out what it was like to not be tucking his children into bed because the marriage had broken up. And we'd have that as part of a broader chat. It wouldn't be the pull quote headline in a tabloid. So there's been a bit of mutual trust, but the storytelling is top notch.
Right. In other words, you wouldn't go for the sensational angle that a lot of papers or magazines might go for. So there was a level of trust built up, and you usually, if they were doing press, you usually got access. In fact, on some occasions, it was maybe just yourself and Q magazine in the one room with them.
It was when the 10th birthday came along, they were doing one interview. And I'd spoken before. It's funny, we got onto the management early on and said, look, we've got the Hot Press Awards. All of the band, including, the rest of the group, Bonehead and Giggsy, had Irish connections, either north or south. So he said, would you like to be considered for the Irish category? And we got a lovely note back from the manager saying, look, Noel says, it's very kind of you, but he can't upset Bono if you two don't win any awards this year. So they're international, and you two can have a go at the Irish ones. So that I thought it was really nice. But yeah, they agreed to do a 10th birthday interview. I had to fly overnight to sort of Marylebone. And it was meant to be 20 minutes, an hour and a half later. No, I've got a flight to catch back to Ireland. One of my colleagues in 1997 hopped on the tour bus as they went around the States with U2. And that's when Noel's really close friendship with Bono started. We couldn't squeeze it into this 12-pager, but Noel tells a great story where he wakes up in this idyllic seaside cottage and he can't work out, well, I'm in Dublin, I know that, but whose cottage is this? I don't remember getting here. His mobile rings. It's Bono going, Noel, are you ready for the lunch? And he goes, what do you mean? Where am I? You're in one of my cottages. All right, what lunch? Well, we're having lunch and the tea shop's just arrived. So Noel had to brush his teeth, find last night's clothes and go up to the main house to have lunch with, I think it was Leo at the time. So him and Bono are really, really tight.
I'm sure there's plenty of stories like that of Noel from down through the years, because in various Hot Press interviews, he's very open about the drugs and about the drink and about the marriage breakups and about him and Liam. But the beauty of just looking back, getting a synopsis of the Hot Press relationship is that you were there from the start, from the supporting at Slane, REM. Actually, I was there that day and it was a great gig. And then I think the next year they played at what was the Point, just at the time. Don't Look Back in Anger came out, and that was a great gig as well. But from all the other gigs, then there was the arenas, and then going on tour in the States, and then their own huge shows at huge stadium shows, including at Slane. In fact, one of the Slane gigs is one of their favourite gigs of all time.
Yeah, he thought that Natural Amphitheatre, as he went out, he said it just sent a rush through him. He'd been very impressed because for the launch with Lord Henry, God bless him, they'd helicoptered down. And I think it was their first time helicoptering anywhere, and they liked that. And actually, Lord Henry was telling me that there's also family from Duleek, which I didn't know, and that the guest list was like, a telephone directory. But he had a bit of a sort of a pre-show party in the castle a couple of nights before. And he said there were Gallaghers crawling out of the woodwork, all of them with the same eyebrows. So he knew they weren't lying. It's a family trait, the eyebrows that nearly meet in the middle.
Yeah. You've been at enough Oasis gigs down through the years. There's a real air of expectancy and a real buzz. And I mentioned the volatile word earlier. And back in the early days, there would have been an almost a half expectancy that, well, something could and possibly will go wrong here.
I was backstage at the Point in 1997 when word came through that Liam had a sore throat. And Noel's reaction,
Mm.
he told me he was going to go on stage and announce the hotel and Liam's room so people could go around and personally demand refunds. So I saw the incandescent rage that wasn't being put on for me. One second it's all sunny smiles and sunny disposition, the next a face like thunder. So yeah, yeah, I think it's like brothers. All brothers sort of fight. If you go back through music, look at Ray and Dave Davis, and it's probably that volatility, that edge, that has given them that sort of. What I loved about them is like you too. They weren't just saying, "Oh, we're going to make records and we sell a few. That's fine." From day one, they said, "We want to be the biggest band in the world." And actually, Noel said to me once, he said, "You two are the best band of the last 30 years, but we're the best band of the last 10."
Yeah, never short of something, a great line, a one-liner, and the lines that they use throughout the interview, full of expletives. Now, you leave them in for the most part in Hot Press. We can't use them on here, but you can almost, as a reader, you can almost hear them talking.
Well, when we decided to do obviously a big Oasis thing, there were no new interviews, and we thought, do we do a thought piece? And I looked back and I thought, well, this is actually complete from first album to solo records. They've always spoken to us, either one or both of them. So who better to tell the story than the boys in their own words? Now, yes, of course, there's lots of fantastic swearing, but there's lovely vignettes about fatherhood, about broader pictures, about faith.
Mm-hmm.
Liam does his best to dumb down, but he's not thick. He's a very bright guy. And Niall is very articulate. So, when they've done the theatrics, they've slagged off Pete Doherty, they've called Chris Martin names, and you start talking about the bigger questions,
Mm-hmm.
they've got plenty to say. It's not like they've just got music and that's it. Although they made the point that music is the Rolls Royce profession. They had no interest in being actors. Now, Liam did go off piste a bit and have his own pretty green clothing line, but they've never sort of done bad films or theatre productions. It's always been about boom, albums, live shows, and that's the badge of honor. And I think it was really good in a way that they could have probably come back together earlier, but they went away. Liam's solo career didn't take off at first, but he's now probably bigger than Noel would be. They both proved themselves, if they had to, as solo artists. They probably don't need to be doing this, although Noel has had a marriage breakup and these don't come cheap. So there might be a slight topping up the pension fund. But
Mm-hmm.
I do believe, I think Peggy could have been a catalyst. I never met her, but I hear so much about her. The mother is a force of nature. She's quite elderly. She made it known she wanted to see her boys on stage again while she was still alive. And I do think, having heard from, people really close to them, she's a lovely, apparently chilled lady, but she can smack their heads together. And I think perhaps, the mammy coming down hard on them made them think we better do this.
Okay, the Mammy effect. So, finally, fans, if you're going up to Dublin at the weekend, you're going to get a good chance there. You're going to get a really good Oasis gig.
Also, I'm hearing great reports about cast, and Richard Ashcroft is in the form of his life. So
You're supporting.
it's tempting to stay in the bar, and there are plenty of them around Croker, but I don't know what time gates are. You probably do. I get there for cast and Richard Ashcroft. It's a really good evening's music, and I just can't wait.
Okay. Well, Stuart, that special edition of Hot Press is out now. Stuart, no doubt you're going to one of the gigs the weekend.
I'm going to go on Friday and just really can't wait.
All right then. Well, listen.
Lovely talking to you.
Yeah, enjoy. Thanks, Stuart.
Cheers. Bye bye.